Nobody wins when the family feels. But my
some tricks, I know how you feel. Yeah.
I know how you feel, yeah. I know how you feel, nigga.
Yeah. Our pistols be out, they know how we coming. We run to the ops, they gon' be the ones running. We flipping the clip, then switching the clip soon as it decop. We don't tie the broke.
On to more breaking news. A child is in critical condition after what police are calling a targeted shooting in southwest Atlanta.
What we have determined is that there was a car following them. When they came to the intersection behind me at Peters and Chapel, the car pulled alongside on the passenger side and began to open fire, striking the 2-year-old who was in the back seat.
Sir.
All right, hey, follow this officer right here.
Sir.
Come on, Quan.
I love you for real, bro. Can I get my girlfriend a kiss out, please?
You'll get in a second. Come on, buddy. You'll get in a second.
Yeah, Dirt Tay, man, you get the dirty here, man.
And today, we talk about an Atlanta rapper who seemed to just got sentenced to 17 years in prison. And there's been some mixed emotions from the suspect side and the victim side. Today, we talk about his statements he made a part of his proffer agreement, according to the state. In return, according to his charges, a relatively light sentence. We also discuss who this young man is, some of his rap accomplishments, and his affiliations, according to his own statement in the state of Georgia. So before we go over this one, remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Fam, Katavius Wright, aka Dirt Tay, allegedly from Atlanta, Georgia, in the area of Oakland Avenue, having tracks like Lit, released 4 years ago, with a little under 250,000 views, and having tracks featuring Lil Baby at 24 Heavy 24 years ago, with over 400,000 views on just the audio. Dirt Tay was once signed to 4PF. Not sure if that's still current to this day. He even once did an interview and explained his relationship with Lil Baby. Check it out.
Hell nah. Like, when I wasn't trying to do it, it was hard, but now I gotta get it.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. Nah, I really got prison early, like, cause I got the GD. So now I gotta get it. They gonna get me home early.
Yeah.
Like, got my hair right to get that motherfucker. I got it. Came home early.
Yeah. What was one of the biggest lessons you learned while in prison?
Shit. Big lesson. Mind your business. Like, pretty like, mind your business. That's the same thing on the street. Mind your own business.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so you only been rapping for, what, 6 months, 7 months now?
Probably like 7 months now.
Yeah.
Probably like 7 months now.
What motivated you to start rapping?
Shit, everybody just telling me shit, and I got, like, around Baby like, I see, like, Baby, like, how this shit is, how sweet this shit is. How, like, shit, folks telling me I look like I rap. I need rap. I got image raps. I just tried and shit. Dropped this song. Dropped me on the song. I caught a ball. Shit. Kept it going.
People were fucking with that first song, huh?
People were fucking with it.
Yeah. Did it come natural to you, or did it take a while for you to get comfortable in the booth?
Shit, I guess it's kind of natural. I don't write.
You don't write at all?
Yeah, nah. I'm in the studio right now. I'm making a hard ass song.
Shit.
I'll talk. Like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
No line.
Just be rapping about your life and experiences, huh?
Yeah, nah, what's going on? Like everything, like truth, like going on.
Yeah. How long have you known Baby now?
Little minute. Little minute.
Yeah. What's some of the best advice he's given you about the music business?
And I gave him some good advice on music business, but like Baby was a street nigga, like he gave me advice, like street advice.
Okay.
Like before he give me music advice, he gave me like street advice. The street advice is gonna like lead like music advice too though. And like you're a good nigga though. Like you know, telling nigga what's right from wrong.
Yeah.
On August 3rd, 2022, at around 4 p.m., officers have responded to 500 Peter Street Southwest. On a 3-year-old male shot. Upon arrival, officers located the victim, who sustained a gunshot wound to the head. The child was transported to the hospital. The investigators was notified and worked to determine the circumstances surrounding the incident. The investigation revealed that the shooting occurred at the intersection of Peter Street and Chapel Street. 2 suspect vehicles were located on surveillance. One of the suspect vehicles drove next to the vehicle of the victim and fired shots into the car, striking the victim in the head. They was driving in a Dodge Challenger, ended up going to the nearby fire station, who transported the 3-year-old male, which was the parent's son, to a nearby hospital. Other than the unfortunate situation, which was sad enough, the hip-hop community didn't think nothing of it. Until 2 weeks later, 8/19/2022, investigators with the Atlanta Police Department and fugitive unit of Zone 2 officers had arrested for aggravated assault suspect Contavious Wright. Without incident, Wright was immediately transported to public safety headquarters to be interviewed before being booked into Fulton County Jail, which would later be into Part 2 after the family TV also requested this interrogation. He was booked on charges with attempt to commit criminal street gang participation, aggravated assault, and aggravated battery, and cruelty to children. The Atlanta Police Department ended up releasing his arrest footage. Check it out.
Exit out the vehicle for me.
Exit out the vehicle with the hands in the air.
Just put the phone down for us, please, so you don't get yourself hurt. Come back towards us. Any weapons on you? Get your hands away from your purse for me. Put them on top of your head.
It is.
Come over here. Back here. Over here. Check her down for me. You want to clear this? Yep. All right, let's roll. All right, we're good. Where's the key? Yeah, I'm looking for it. All right, I got it. Let me know when you're ready. I think he probably has the key. It ain't popping up.
Hey, Lee, out.
Ouch.
You want to put him in our room?
Ouch.
Yeah, he's got his phone and a big stack of cash in his pocket.
So there are no weapons on
Phone
you,
in his
man.
back pocket.
Can you get that to my girlfriend, please?
As soon as we get a chance, all right? I'll get the money out of your pocket in a second. You got no weapons on you, right?
Nah.
What's your ID?
Shy, I love you, bro.
I'll walk you.
Shy,
All right.
Hey, follow this officer right here.
Shy,
Come on.
I love you for real, bro. Can I get my girlfriend a kiss out, please?
You'll get it in a second. Come on, buddy. You'll get it in a second.
Please.
You'll get it in a second, my brother. You'll get it in a second.
Why am I on the wrist, officer?
But you live to 6'7".
Now after this moment is where things get very interesting, family, and very detailed, as the family TV had requested the indictment and also statements made a part of his plea, and I'll let you guys be able to make the judgment on what's going on. Now Tate ended up having court on January 23rd, 2024, and during that time it was an order to grant the state's motion for introducing new evidence, and they got in detail about 3 cases the defendant, who in this case Contavious Wright, had made. Of course, out of the 3 cases, on the first out of 6 pages it mentioned the defendant was charged with numerous offenses, including participating in criminal street gang activity, robbery, kidnapping, and attempt M, relating to 3 separate incidents, all occurring in Fulton County. According to the state's proffer, as to the first incident, robbery of Ronaldo Bird on December 15th, 2021, the defendant and the unknown male were both armed with handguns, which they pointed at the victim. They then stole the victim's handgun and gunpoint, then threatened to take his life before he fled the scene. As to the second incident, on July 15, 2022, the defendant, aka Dirt Tay, had robbed and kidnapped Wazaya Smith again at gunpoint. And this incident is what led to the shooting at the barbershop months later. The victim told police he was robbed and kidnapped by local rapper Dirt Tay. The victim designed clothes and were due to meet with Dirt Tay to sell him clothing. At the time of the robbery, the victim and the defendant met up under the guise of a sale, at which time an unknown co-conspirator who had accompanied the defendant struck the victim over his head with a handgun. The defendant and the unknown male then robbed the victim of his clothing items, phone, and jewelry, and proceeds to tap the victim's pockets, demanding the victim's money. The victim tried to run away, but the defendant and their co-conspirator blocked his escape. The victim told him he had money at his home in Sandy Springs. They then demanded him to get in their car and drove the victim to the victim's home in Sandy Springs. They held the victim at gunpoint during a riot at his home. He threatened to take the life of the victim and drove him to the West End area of Atlanta, dropped him off, and fled. The victim proceeds to knock on doors in the area, and a Good Samaritan called 911. The defendant, aka Dirt Tay, was wearing a GPS ankle monitor due to being out on bond for his first incident that we just talked about. The monitor placed the defendant and the victim's address in the early morning hours when a robbery is alleged to have happened. As to the final incident, the defendant and the co-defendant, Demarion Render, are accused of attempt M for shooting at the victim's Dodge Challenger, as we mentioned, as it left the barbershop in downtown Atlanta. Surveillance video captured a white sedan and a dark color sedan following the victim's car as it pulled out of a parking spot on Peter Street. The dark color sedan then drove slightly ahead of the victim's car on the passenger side and fired multiple times into the victim's car, striking a 3-year-old boy in the head. The white sedan was seen driving behind the victim's car, essentially trapping the victim's car in the line of fire. The 3-year-old survived. The 3-year-old's young brother, mother, and father, was, as we mentioned, were present inside the Challenger as well.
Everybody ready? All right, Deputy Chief Charles Hampton Jr. A little after 4 p.m. this afternoon, APD officers responded to a person shot. What we know so far is that a father and his child were exiting a barbershop in the 200 block of Peter Street. Once they left that location, they drove southbound on Peter Street, and what we have determined is that there was a car following them. When they came to the intersection behind me at Peters and Chapel, the car pulled alongside on the passenger side and began to open fire, striking the 2-year-old who was in the back seat. The father then drove down to Fire Station 14 on Lee Street, where the child was transported to a local hospital. So right now we are looking for a blue in color Kia Optima. We know that that car after the shooting continued to travel southbound onto Peter Street. So we're asking anyone if they have any information to call the Atlanta Police Department, or they can call Crime Stoppers where they can remain anonymous.
Can you say anything about what led to the shooting, what sparked it?
And as you can, I mean, it's still a very active scene. So we still have to piece together. We need to go back to the barbershop to figure out exactly if there's anything that happened inside the barbershop. So again, very fluid. We have the dad. We're asking questions regarding what happened, but it appears to be a targeted incident. It does not appear to be random at all. But again, it's still very early on in our investigation. We're still trying to ascertain a lot of information at this time.
Is it safe to say the victims knew the shooter?
I can't say that. What I can say is that it appears to be a targeted incident. I'm not sure if they know one another, but it appears that the shooters, in fact, wanted to shoot the occupants in that vehicle.
I didn't hear what you said. Where was the child struck?
I didn't say.
And everybody's obviously concerned about the child. How is the child?
So right now we get report that the child is in critical condition, but stable. And so that's right now, that's a good sign for us. But again, any gunshot injuries to a child is concerning. So we'll just have to let the medical professionals do their job, and we'll continue to stay updated on the condition of the child. But right now, with the reports that we're receiving, critical but stable.
Was the father shot, and is that child a male or a female?
Right now, it only appears that the child was shot. It does not appear that the dad was struck by any gunfire, and it's a male child.
Did they respond with gunfire?
I'm sorry?
Did the dad respond with gunfire, or was the only person who shot the car?
Again, everything is still under investigation. It appears right now that only the vehicle that fled the scene was the car that fired shots.
Was it just the dad and the child in the car, or was anybody else in the car?
That's right now. It's only the dad and the child.
And they had been at the barbershop up the road.
Right now, that's where investigation is leading us. That's where they exited from.
Here's where Dirty Tay's own statement, according to his proffer agreement, helped make that connection to authorities. The defendant, aka Dirty Tay, spoke with the police and identified himself as the driver of the white sedan, and the co-defendant as the driver of the shooter's dark sedan. The defendant told the police he was essentially merely present at the scene of the crime and was not involved in the shooting of the victim. According to the state's proffer, the defendant is a known associate, a criminal street gang known for crimes of violence, theft crimes, and narcotic crimes. 4PF Turf is the Oakland City area of Atlanta. And let's get something straight before we continue. These type of people who will take your life and tell on you is not to be trusted, and probably the most dangerous people in the world. So who knows if he's telling the truth? That's just his statement to help his get out of trouble. And for those who don't know, a government proffer is a written contract between a federal prosecutor and a defendant, or a person under criminal investigation, where the defendant agrees to provide the prosecutor with useful information. So without me labeling him something, according to his own words and what he signed, we already know he's, or for better terms, a government official. And a part of his plea, he gave up information, a part of a 2015 case he was arrested, that was evidence in this case as well. They say the defendant pled guilty in 2015 in a case of an aggravated assault, which we'll later break down, but just check this out. Participation in a criminal street gang activity and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felon. In that case, defendant, along with co-defendant, Kadarius Sanders, who was in 2023, pled guilty to participation in the criminal street gang activity stemming from his association with the criminal street gang 4PF. Now let's pause it there, because on 10/9/2022, Zone 5 Field Investigation Team had conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle for illegal tent in the 300 block of McDaniel Street in Southwest. And guess who was in the passenger side? Kadarius Sanders, arrested for an act of warrant, as we just mentioned, participation with a criminal street gang 4PF. Check it out.
You don't got to do all that. I ain't resisting. I'm not resisting.
Okay, bro.
I'm not resisting, ma'am. I'm not resisting, ma'am.
I'm not gonna keep telling you.
Can I put my shoe on? Can I you know, you can get my phone. Let me put my shoe on.
Turn around. Turn around.
Damn, bro. Ain't nobody resisting, bro. Can I get my shoe, bro?
Now I'll put your shoe on.
God
Yes.
damn, bro. You got to do all that shit. Bro. That shit ain't even hard for me, bro. First you tell me one thing.
Show me a good two detain. I'm gonna be out with 5576.
Two detain?
That's all.
Here, obviously, I'm getting it to you, man.
Put your hands on back.
I'm getting it to you, obviously.
What you trying to get me?
Man, I'm just telling myself, I can tell my brother. I can get my stuff to my brother. I'm not going nowhere.
I know. Just give me we on the system. I trust you. I believe everything you're saying. I believe everything you're saying, brother. I promise you I do.
I can do it.
No longer at that location. She's down the street. The male was last seen hiding behind a black Honda Civic. On a You were stuck on a 49.
They said Dirty Tay and Kadarius Sanders, as we stay on track, at just 15 years old in 2015, pulled out firearms on a young man as the young man walked to school alongside two other witnesses. The two witnesses told police the defendant and Sanders were members of the blood criminal street gang, and admitted themselves were both members of Crips. Teenagers are just 15 years old saying they Crips, admitting to it to police and saying that the opposition blood, but they want to be gangster. They went on to state that they had bad blood with the defendant over a shooting incident 1 year prior. Now keep that in mind, because we're going to go over that incident in full detail. But another act of violence evidence that he admit to was pleading guilty to 2020 case involving the possession of illegal narcotics in a case Atlanta Police Department officers so defendant Demarion Render during multiple hand-to-hand drug sales at a store in Oakland City neighborhood of Atlanta. Render then got into the passenger seat of a certain car. Their car was soon stopped by police. The defendant, aka Dirty Tay, was driving and was in possession of 2 Percocet pills, less than 1 ounce of Mary Jane, and over $10,000 in cash. Render, a convicted felon, was in possession of a handgun, less than 1 ounce of Mary Jane, a digital scale, and $40 in cash. The defendant pled guilty to possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. So those were all the evidence that was submitted during that trial, in which Dirty Tay had agreed to. But when it comes to that incident in 2015, it was because Dirty Tay was shot at prior to trying to pistol his classmate. The victim was identified as Dorsey Cortez, who lived on the 2900 block of 3rd Avenue Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. As we mentioned, there was 2 witnesses who lived in the same area in southwest of Atlanta. The other guy who was with Dirty Tay was a guy who go by the name of Dante Bernard McKennedy. Dirty Tay stayed on the southwest of Atlanta, and McKennedy also stayed on the southwest of Atlanta. According to an officer who responded to a dispute call involving a gun at the 2930 Forest Hill Drive at Forest Hill Academy, upon arrival, he was greeted by a senior patrol officer who stated that one of the students pulled a firearm to another student. Corby Dozie, the victim, stated that while he was walking to school, a 4-door sedan car, unsure to make a model, possible Honda, Hyundai, or Toyota, approached him, and one of the juvenile students, identified as Quintavious Wright, pulled a pistol out on him. Student number 2, Jamarius Hurd, stated that he saw a Hyundai, silver in color, 4 doors, accelerate and tried to hit them. Student Hurd took off running, scared for his life. Student number 3, Delonte Jeffries, also took off running, scared for his life. The student stated that they believe the vehicle is stolen, but did not have the tag information. Student Dorsey stated that the argument began about a year ago between the student Wright and student Dorsey, stated that his brother and a group with student Dorsey exchanged words, and student Dorsey shot that he heard the student Dorsey and student Wright got into a verbal dispute on Friday, 9/25/2015 after school on school property, but the students was not injured. Quindarius Wright was arrested on 10/23/2015, about 2 months later, for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felon. He lived on the 900 block of People Street in southwest Atlanta. His mom opened the door. Miss Sanders, as police asked, was her son, Quindarius Sanders, home. She stated he did not come home last night. They then asked her if they could check the residence to make sure he wasn't in the house. She allowed them to come into the home. Her son, Quindarius Sanders, was downstairs asleep. He was taken into custody without injuries. The second suspect, Dirty Tay, aka Quintavious Wright, was taken into custody without injuries at his grandmother's house on the 1200 block of West Mount Avenue. Both suspects was then transported by Zone 4 units to Zone 3 CID. And it's crazy, because here's their mugshot. This is Sanders, and this is Tay's. It's in black and white, of course. But they got his old Facebook page, Young Tay Free Shot, and this indictment, which I looked up, and it's still there. When questioned by police having these pictures, even with firearms, Dirty Tay stated he had nothing to do with any pointing a handgun at the victim at the time. He stated Mr. Wright did it. Police stated that Dirty Tay did acknowledge he was inside the vehicle driven by a friend, and he encountered Mr. Dorsey on the back street near 5th Grand Avenue. Mr. Wright also stated he never held a handgun before and was not in any type of gang. Mr. Wright does acknowledge that Mr. Dorsey and any other victims that did not pursue any charges belong to the Crip gang. Even in 2015, at 15 years old, he stayed in the streets but was talking to authorities. Police showed Mr. Wright several pictures of him holding possession of a firearm, which they later posted, as we just mentioned, in the Facebook pictures, and standing with the suspect vehicle that was used in the crime. Mr. Wright stated that it was him in the photos, contends that the handguns were fake. As Mr. Sanders, he stated he was driving the suspect vehicle white or silver color Honda, he did try to hit the victim and his friends, but intends he wasn't trying to hurt anyone. Mr. Sanders acknowledged that the car he was driving was stolen and he knew it, but insists he never pointed any firearms at Mr. Dorsey or the other victims. Mr. Sanders states Mr. Dorsey and the other victims are Crip gangs they both was telling, and they had disagreements before and believe this is just revenge. Mr. Sanders did admit possessing handguns in the past and states that the photos I shown him, which are the same photos I showed Mr. Wright, were real handguns. And the Honda in the photos is the stolen vehicle he was driving that day. Fam, these teenagers was taking pictures in front of a stolen vehicle. Here it is again. And while they saying who's snitching on who on Facebook, they both was telling on each other. Corb Dorsey, Dirty Tay account, which police had submitted from Dirty Tay email. Why y'all tell them folks I pulled out a strap on y'all? Hashtag Lil Tay post. You put 12 on Lil Tay? Question mark. Where they do that at? Tiger post. Nigga, I don't say I gets up for mine's 100. Nah, for real. Better ask Bamo. I wanna fade Lil Tay. Happens. And I'ma do what I gotta do. Response, alright, say less. You go to jail? You just go to jail, 100. I don't fuck with you anyways. Y'all tripping. Then y'all boys talking brazy, chatting. Y'all catch y'all in traffic, dog. Okay, killer. But yeah, I don't do no snitching. And y'all got some storm. Better ask somebody. I'ma get something for all that talking. Bro, you ran for no reason. For one, for two, one stunt. Didn't even know you was round there. Nah, for real. Lord CJ, I don't know what y'all got going on. Fam, excuse me. Not reading at the best, but God knows I was struggling trying to understand how they was texting. Now, in return for all that information that Mr. Wright, aka Dirty Tay, had given, he received a 17-year plea. He was in a viral clip of someone allegedly having the grill out his mouth in jail. Check it out.
Yeah, man, Dirty Tay, man, he get the dirty man. What, yeah.
Now, it seemed we might know the reason after having his case statements came out and allegations of him telling was confirmed. It's an unfortunate situation. It's another prime example. A youngins stay out the streets. It's a myth. It's no way. They either telling on you, bringing you down, or getting you hemmed up, which lead to two things. They always say, death or in jail. Get some paper, mind your business, live life, continue to prosper. This was the story of Atlanta, Georgia rapper who decided to tell everything he know for a 17-year plea agreement. Want to send love and prayers to the victim of that 3-year-old. Anyone else who was affected by these stories that we just touched on. Y'all let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.